Hi, this is Ann for Graphic Design How To, and today in Adobe Illustrator I'm going to show you appearance and graphic style and how they can be used together. I'll also show you how to resize graphic styles so that you can apply them to smaller text. Okay, let's get started. First, I want you to get your graphic styles palette and your appearance palette open, but separated. So go up to Window and choose Graphic Styles and Appearance here to open them, if they're not already open somewhere. But you don't want them to be in the same little box. You don't want them to be like this. Have them separated. It's just easier to work with them that way. Okay, so I've built an appearance already here with these two boxes and shapes. I'm going to kind of walk you through how to build an appearance. And I also want to go over why you would want to do an appearance as opposed to having a separate layer for each one of these items. First, we'll build this appearance word. So I'm just going to type appearance. And the font I'm using is Lead Gothic. So let's make this a little bit bigger. I'm holding Shift when I pull the corners. And I'll put it up like this. Maybe a little smaller. Okay, that's fine. Click on the appearance palette. You can see you have characters here and type. Most of the time when you just type a word, the text will be in characters. So if you double click characters, you can see you have a fill and stroke inside there. When you're building an appearance, it's best to get rid of the fill and the stroke in the characters and move it up into type. So let's go ahead and do that. You pretty much have to just delete it and make a new one in type. Can't really move it. So we'll trash this and then click on type, and you can do new fill, which is Command ? Okay, so we have our fill, and it's probably Control ? on a PC. When we look at it now, we can see a stroke and fill in the type, and down here in characters, there is nothing. So if we double click this, you can see. Okay, I'm going to move this up a little bit. You can see what we're doing here. When you want to work on different parts of an appearance, you need to actually have it clicked like this. So right now I want to work on the fill. I want it to be a yellow fill, and I'll just choose that. Now we have a yellow fill that matches. I'm going to make it a little darker so you can see it a little better. Now I want a stroke. So I'm going to click on the stroke first, and I'm going to click just a darker gray, and we'll bump the stroke up to, that's about right. I'm also going to round the corners of that stroke. You can see here on the N, the 2 points inside kind of make a box shape, and I don't like that, so I'm going to round that stroke. In your appearance, it will remember that you rounded the stroke too, which is nice. So we've got the stroke here, and we've got the fill. Now this stroke, I'm going to move it up and to the left a little bit. And to do that, we can go to, well, actually, I'd probably do it down here. Distort and transform. Transform. And I'm just going to move it. We'll put preview on so we can see what we're doing. Move it to the right a little bit, to the left, and up, up. Okay, so now we've got something that kind of matches our lower word. And we'll say okay. All right, so we're pretty much done with the appearance of the word appearance. Now to make a graphic style of this, you want to take this box here and pull it up to graphic style. If you take the word part, I don't think it's going to work. It gives you this, no, you can't do that. If you take this, it won't work. You have to click on the box itself. So pull that up there. And now you have a graphic style there. Now, anything that we click on, I'm going to get my V tool up here and click out. And then any shape, if we draw with the M tool, if we draw a square, this graphic style will apply. You can see me changing it back and forth with the default one that comes in or the graphic style we just made. So we could even have a shape. I'm drawing with the N tool, the pencil tool. We'll just have a shape like this. And now we'll click our graphic style, and you can see that that applies to that shape, the graphic style we just made. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete these. And I want to show you a really awesome thing about graphic style. You can still type in here. It's still live text. So that is really handy if you know you might be changing a word. In the old days, everyone used to just make a copy and put it behind. So you'd just move it over, move it down, make it a stroke, and then you'd have two copies. But if you had to change that text, now you have two copies of the text you have to update, and that's not good. So keep in mind that using an appearance and a graphic style for text is really, really handy. Another thing we can do with these graphic styles, I'm going to go ahead and make these boxes using this graphic style. So I'll just draw a box with my M tool. And we already have the graphic style applied, but if I want to make it blue, all I have to do is go down here and click on the fill in the appearance and make it a blue color. And if I like that graphic style, it actually unlinks from the original graphic style when you make a change in the appearance. So keep that in mind. If you're wanting to make changes, you might want to save the new graphic style too. So now we can take this path and apply this graphic style to it. It's pretty cool. I'm going to show you how to make this box with the dotted line. So first we'll make a box. I'm going to use the yellow. Okay, so let's add a stroke. And these are really a lot like layers. So right now the stroke is on top of the fill, you know. So just keep in mind they're like layers and they work the same way. All right, let's get a dark stroke. We can see I just added that, maybe a little bit thicker. And now we'll offset that path. And we'll put it at -5 pixels. Let's see how good that is. Oh, maybe a little more. You can use your arrow keys once you're in that area to kind of see what's going to happen there. And say OK. And now I'm going to come up here to the stroke palette, and if that's not open, it's also under window, right down here. I'm going to click on dashed line, and then we'll adjust this a little bit. It's a little bit thick, and I like to see a bigger dash and a smaller gap. All right, perfect. Okay, so now you can see we have a appearance on our path, and I'm going to just grab this appearance, pull it to graphic styles. Oops, that did not work. Let me try again. There we go. And now that we have these three graphic styles, we can click things and see how they'll look if another graphic style is applied. So you can get some easy, fast ways of changing your art. Obviously, this is not a great one for, for that text, but I would probably choose something like this. I did like the color I had earlier, but yeah, we'll go with that. Maybe these can be this. And we'll get rid of that. And so it's just a really easy and fast way to change out your art. Now, if we want to change the size of this, I'm going to Option drag to make a copy. If I make the word appearance smaller, it did not change. Like the spacing between everything is still the same, so it doesn't look quite as nice now. So I'm going to undo that. If you're having that problem, click S, which is the scale tool, and hit return. And now you'll see this option, Scale Strokes and Effects. I'm going to click that. I don't want to scale it right now. I like to do it by hand, so I'm going to put 100 here. But now when I click it and drag it, that appearance just it gets smaller in the same proportion that I'm dragging it. So the smaller it gets, it still maintains the same look as the big one. Now let's say I really like that. You can save another appearance and apply the smaller appearance to other items. So I wanted to bring that up to you. When you resize things, you can keep on saving graphic styles and apply them as you need. Okay, so that is my tip for the day of working with graphic styles and appearances. If you like this video, please click the like button. And if you have any ideas of things you'd like to see or something you'd like to learn, please add a comment in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much. This is Anne for Graphic Design How To. Thanks.